You lit us on fire and walked away. Left me for dead, left me in chains. I'm not a fighter, we're not the same. But when this ends, you'll know my name. I lost my composure, lost my way. Left here for dead, left here in chains. The nightmare is over, that's what you say. But I'm scared, sober and wide awake. Out of my way, I'm king of the world, just for today, until it all burns. So wake me up, just let me dream. It's never enough, it's never enough.
There's a famous legend of a mythical archer who was said that his accuracy with his bow was so great that he could actually hit an apple from 150 meters away. His legend spread through the land so fast that enemy armies were terrified to meet him in battle. So when the king learned about this legendary archer, he said to his wisest servant, "Servant, bring me this archer that I might use him in my annual archery contest." Now the archer was terrified when this happened. He was so afraid to let the king down. So when he got into the archery contest, he missed every single target he aimed at. And the king was, of course, absolutely furious. He said to his servant, "Why is this man not living up to his reputation? I've heard legends of this man hitting an apple from 150 meters away, yet he can't even hit a simple target 20 feet away. What is going on here, wise servant?" And the servant said, of course, "Wise king, the archer cannot hit the target because his need to win drains him of power." Welcome back to our Law of Attraction series, episode 7. So far in this series, I've talked a lot about how passion is authenticity, authenticity is power, and power is divine. We've touched on passion and authenticity. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what true power is and how it works. So I've talked about energy, frequency, and vibration quite a bit, but I want to unpack that a little bit more for you. So energy is essentially what everything is. You and I are energy. Everything we see around us is energy. The entire universe is actually energy in motion. And so when we focus on something or when we desire something, that creates a unique and specific vibration, which vibrationally matches us with the thing we're focusing or desiring. The longer we focus on it, the more powerfully we focus on it or desire it, it starts to condense into our frequency. And your frequency is essentially the sum total of everything you are focusing on and desiring at any given time, positive, negative, or neutral. So from the time you're born, the universe basically starts asking you what you want. But again, what language does the universe speak? Does it speak English or Spanish? It doesn't speak human language. It speaks only energy because that's what it is. And when we think about what language actually is, it's essentially just a brand new development on the planet. Humans have only been around for maybe 0.1% of the planet's history. And so language is literally just the way that humans have learned to package energy, frequency, and vibration into sounds that we make with our mouth. So our native language is also energy, but we just aren't aware of it because we're so used to thinking that words are the primary conduit of language. But the universe isn't paying attention to your words. It's not even paying attention to your thoughts. It's only paying attention to what you are emitting vibrationally, what you are matching vibrationally. Because see, we are vibrational beings. And so it's actually very simple. When you're feeling good, you're in alignment. When you're feeling bad, negative, you're out of alignment. And so the whole key to law of attraction is just to recognize when you're feeling negative or down, to just turn your attention back to that which makes you feel good again, as quickly as you can. Because thankfully, as we've touched on in this series, there is a buffer, there is a time gap with the law of attraction. It doesn't just give you immediately what you're vibrationally matching. It keeps asking you, how bad do you want this? Are you willing to pull the trigger? And it takes time. And the more that you continue to vibrate with it, the more and more it's going to give that to you. And eventually you will manifest it, which is why it's absolutely vital to be in charge of your energy field and know if you're feeling good or feeling bad and start taking it seriously. So the simplest way to understand how to communicate with the universe is through animals. If you know how to communicate with an animal, then you know how to communicate with the universe. Because like the universe, animals don't speak English. They only speak energy. So we've all seen dog owners who talk to their dog as if it was a human. It's like they don't understand that it's a dog. And so they're talking to it, telling it to stop doing something, screaming at it to stop doing something, and it's ignoring them. And so this is what we do with law of attraction. So for example, if I want my 10-week-old puppy to stop biting my hand, it doesn't do me any good to ask him politely like I would a human to stop biting my hand. I have to emit the energy I want, otherwise he completely ignores me.
Bodhi, please stop biting my hand. It hurts so badly. Ouch! Bodhi, that hurts. Ow, it's hurting. I'm begging you to stop. Please, come on, please stop. Bodhi, come on, please stop chomping on my hand like that.
If I want my dog to stop biting my hand, I don't even need to say anything. I can just give a quick command and emit the energy I want him to feel, and he listens right away.
Good boy.
So as I've said many times in this series, Jesus was truly the original law of attraction teacher. And most people don't understand that almost everything he talks about has something to do with law of attraction. And one of the most famous and most powerful verses where Jesus talks about this is in the Gospel of Matthew. And he says, I tell you the truth, if you have faith, even the size of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be removed and cast into the ocean, and it shall obey you. So what Jesus is trying to communicate in this verse is an act of great power, by using the metaphor of moving mountains. So he's obviously not talking about literally speaking to a mountain. I command the mountain, be removed! See, I knew it wasn't going to work. Turn the camera off. So the question is, why is Jesus indicating that faith is power? The reason is because faith is essentially an act of total surrendering, of complete letting go, trusting the universe, refusing to cling or attach to anything. Faith literally means non-attachment, and non-attachment is where true power comes from. Why? Well, because the universe isn't attached to anything. Everything the universe makes is impermanent. It's born and it dies, and the cycle repeats itself. And the universe doesn't cling to keep anything alive. It allows the cycle of birth and death to go on forever and ever. And so when we attach to things, we make ourselves out of alignment with the way the universe actually is. And that's what causes us to become powerless. So what powerlessness essentially means is that we aren't in control of where our energy is going. So follow me, and I'm going to give you the perfect example of how this works. So right now, as you sit here watching this video, you are seated at the dinner table of life. So it's helpful to think about your life this way. Imagine that every single day you are eating at the Law of Attraction restaurant. Your waitress only speaks energy. Your dinner menu is the Field of Dreams that we talked about in episode 5. Now consider how you normally would order food at a restaurant. You look at the menu, and again, use your imagination to locate items on the menu that resonate with you. So you imagine yourself eating the food, and when you come upon a decision, you tell your selection to the waitress. Now, unfortunately, this is not how most people are living their lives. Most people live their lives constantly focusing on the negative, constantly complaining about their life, whining, groaning, moaning about all the things they don't like about their life. And so from the universe's perspective, it looks something like this. Okay, I would like to have the... Oh my gosh, you guys have crab cakes on your menu? I'm allergic to sea fish, so no crab cakes, please. Smoked salmon. Oh, gag. No smoked salmon. Write that down, please. Fish tacos. Do you guys have anything good? This menu's terrible. Definitely no kale salad. I hate kale. It's going to be hard for you to get a tip today, I got to be honest. So the moral of the story with this analogy is what I've been trying to hammer home in this series. See only what resonates. Don't order the items off the menu of life that you don't want to eat. See only what you do want to eat and make your selection. So now that we have a better understanding of how our power works, let's talk more about where power comes from. I'm standing right now on the base of Mount Tamalpais, one of the tallest mountains in Northern California. Let's say that this mountain represents the dream that I want to manifest. The first thing that's required is that I need to feel extremely excited about it. And so if you are sitting around asking questions like, how do I manifest my dream? Or where do I even begin? That's simply an indicator that your desire for it is not yet extreme enough. If you were obsessed enough, if you were passionate enough, you wouldn't be sitting around at the base of the mountain asking questions. You'd be already taking the first steps. See, all spiritual truths are paradoxes. And the paradox in the law of attraction is, by not needing to get it, you get it. So if I think that I need this dream in order to be happy, the universe pulls its hand back. But when I stop needing it for my happiness, the universe extends its hand. So if I'm looking at my dream as any sort of way to add worth to myself or fulfill myself in some way, then that means I'm becoming attached to the outcome. And remember, attachment is powerlessness. So I call this, then I'll truly be happy syndrome. It's the idea of, oh, if I could just achieve this, or if I could have that, then I would truly be happy. And this is actually the most extreme form of attachment because you're placing all your chips in one hand. And this also makes you afraid to take risks because you're looking at this as a reflection on you somehow. So the ego is saying, what will people think of me if I try to pursue my dream and I fail? That would be so humiliating. Me, me, me. But when you're in love with something, you're not thinking me, me, me. You're just thinking passion. There's another famous verse that says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So your dream is the unseen, and your passion for it is the evidence that it's possible. Remember, the more excited you are about it, the more possible it is. So your ego only forms an attachment to your dream when you don't see it clearly enough. And when I say see it, I really mean feel it. In the law of attraction, seeing is feeling. And so most people think that the law of attraction is just about imagining cinematic movies in your head about what your life will be like when you achieve your dream, and that's not a bad practice, so long as it causes you to feel excited about your dream. There's nothing wrong with posting sticky notes on your walls, writing affirmations on your ceiling and your door frame, as long as they cause you to feel something. But when you understand what the law of attraction really is, you realize you don't need sticky notes. You can just emit the energy you want. So there's no better place where we see the law of attraction in action than in the dating scene. We've all been on dates with people who come off as very desperate and needy and clingy. And so on one hand, our ego thinks that it feels great to be desired like this. But our deeper intuition, our intelligence knows that this person isn't genuinely interested in me. They're just sort of desperate to feel validated. And so that's inauthentic. And as a result, everybody just sort of runs away from them. But the kind of person that we love to be with is the kind of person who is confident and secure in themselves and doesn't need anything from us. Because this gives off the vibe that this person is either genuinely interested in getting to know me better or they genuinely like me. And that feels really good. And so this kind of person is in a state of power, whereas a person who is desperate and needy and attached is in a state of powerlessness. Like the archer in the story, their need to win is draining them of power. So the logical thinking mind doesn't actually have any real power. So it sort of manufactures a false version of it, which I call ego power. The ego essentially believes that power means my ability to affect things, sort of to establish my will by sheer dominance and sheer force, and to impose myself on others, to be cocky and arrogant, basically. And this is, of course, not where real power comes from. True power actually means my ability to not be affected by things, to be invincible, to be unshakable, to be unstoppable when you're non-attached and when you're confident. And this allows you to emit a very powerful energy that people are attracted to. But I sometimes call the ego the substitute self, because the substitute self doesn't actually know that you are already powerful beyond measure. So it makes a false version of power to sort of fill in the gap, which of course isn't actually there. So it steps on people and it tries to flex its muscles to intimidate people. And this sort of just ends up making you somebody that nobody likes or wants to be around, because people can sniff this out. That's not true confidence. But when you know that you already possess all the power you need to manifest anything you truly desire, then you don't need to step on people. You don't want to step on people. You just become more kind and compassionate, and you start emitting a more powerful and attractive vibration, because you don't need anything from anyone. You have nothing to prove anymore. And so the true self can just shine. And this is somebody that everybody loves to be around. People want to help you. People want to help you achieve what you're desiring. And so this is, of course, where true power comes from. And so the truth is that you only ever abuse your power when you don't know that you have it. Okay, just one more step. Let's go. There was a man born in 1918 named Sir Edmund Hillary. Sir Edmund Hillary is widely considered to be the greatest mountaineer of all time. In 1953, he became the first man to successfully summit Mount Everest. And Sir Edmund's famous quote is, "It is not the mountain that we conquer, but ourselves." So that begs the question, what is your mountain? What is your dream? And how do you conquer yourself first in order to obtain it? And you already know the answer. It's passion. The more excited, the more ecstatic, expansive you feel about your dream, the more you're going to conquer the ego and conquer your fears and doubts and insecurities. And this makes manifestation effortless. Because you have become it already. You've condensed it into your frequency, and it's a part of you. You can only attach to something outside of yourself. And love is the ultimate state of non-attachment. Non-attachment is faith. Faith is fearless, it is bold, it is powerful. It doesn't see the size of the mountain. And like Jesus said, if you even have a tiny amount of faith, even the size of a mustard seed, then you can move mountains. But what happens if you have faith the size of a mountain? When you reach this level of power, you no longer have to move the mountain. The mountain is yours.